No, and what I know for sure is that you don't go to the next level, you grow to the next level.
Hmm.
But you can't grow to the next level until you grow the things that gives you the ability to grow. Build $1 million legacy with purpose. Hey, Facebook family, this is Dr. Marnita on fire with P3 Purposepreneur. I'm so excited to be here today. Y'all have no idea who we have in the room today. Now, most of y'all know I'm from Cleveland, and this is where like our roots go way back in the day. It has been some years. I'm going to venture to say it has been decades, a little bit over a decade and a half since I last physically seen this amazing woman whose name is Deon Jones. I'm so excited to have her here. But the reason we're here, for most of you who have been following us doing these interviews, which is all about $1 billion legacies with purpose, and I couldn't think of a better person who has been actually demonstrating on how to walk in that, because she has intentionally created a thing to help so many different women. And she's going to tell you, y'all get y'all pens out, get your pads out, because she's going to be dropping some stuff for y'all as we move through this interview. But that's what we do. We look for people around the world who are building their businesses and creating legacy with their purpose. They're building $1 million legacies with their purpose. And so, without further ado, I want to bring to you Deon Jones. Deon Jones, she is a wife, she is a mother, she is a entrepreneur. I almost want to say she's a serial entrepreneur. I've been following this woman for some time. She is a transformational coach as well. There's nothing better than transformational. So I want to introduce you to Deon Jones. Deon, say hey.
Hey, everybody out there. Thank you so much, Dr. Marnita. I am so honored to be here today.
We're glad to have you. So today we are talking about ageless women who are bold, beautiful, and brilliant. Actually, it's the subtitle of her book. Did I say she was an author too? If I didn't say that, excuse me, I had to put author in there as well. She just released a book, and I'm going to let her tell you about that. So first of all, Deon, would you tell us, one, the name of your book? But I want to back up from there after you tell us what the name of your book is, because y'all got to go get it. I'm sure it's everywhere, but go ahead.
Well, I was blessed thanks to the internet and people doing searches, and I met a beautiful woman named Marquita, and her company is Ageless Glamour Girls. And so she created an anthology called Ageless Glamour Girls, and I am one of the co-authors. And it has been such a beautiful journey to get to know the other authors from around the world, but we are all women over 50 who have life lessons to share.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. I think that's so amazing because I've been watching you, Deon, for, as I said, years, and I haven't physically seen you in a decade and a half. And I've seen what you've been doing to impact women's lives over that time. I may not have spoken to you, but I watch you on, thank God for social media, girl. I've been watching you and I've been following you. And so this ageless glamour girl, or aging with vibrancy, can you share with us what it was that provoked you to make this a purpose for you to carry out as you move forward?
You spoke about legacy in the beginning, and I am doing legacy work. My maternal grandmother, Eleanor Battle, was a woman ahead of her time. We had to drink a gallon of room temperature water when we were younger. There was no meat, no sugar, no dairy in the house. So that foundation just led me to just live differently. And of course, I got away from it. Um, life took over, married, children, school, just all over the place. And I looked around and I was 200 pounds on this little 5'3" frame. And it was just not the business. I was uncomfortable. I was having respiratory issues, joint pain. And I said, I literally heard my grandmother's voice saying, come back home.
Mm.
And I did.
No, before you say, when you said that hit me there, right there, like come back, that really hit me because I'm so sure there's so many women. We're talking about, we're not excluding women under 50, but we are talking specifically about women 50 and older. What did it mean for you, like in your gut to, what does that mean, come back home?
Well, to come back to what my grandmother had taught me, how to just be simple, live simply, less clutter, being mindful, like you stated, being more intentional because people are watching. And I took that for granted. But now I know the power of that.
Mm,
So I started in with my movement. I started going to work out. I got my health back under control. That followed with my nutrition. I got that back to what my grandmother had taught me. I was raised vegetarian. My grandmother was vegan before the word even existed.
mhm,
So just bringing back those holistic principles that she taught me, and so many things shifted just for me physically, physiologically, mentally, and it just started from there. And my mother was moving, downsizing, and she called me and she was like, I just found this box of all your grandmother's papers. My grandmother had papers on colloidal silver and magnesium and all this stuff that she had written. And I was just like, okay, God, I get it.
mm.
Everybody always would tell me, you look like Eleanor. We would go to church conferences. You must be Eleanor's granddaughter. And now I understand I'm supposed to carry her legacy.
Oh, legacy is so important. So thank you for sharing that. Often we women over 50, we find ourselves consumed with so much.
Oof.
And we're trying to juggle it all. So when you said keep it simple, did you have to create some type of strategic positioning with yourself in order to keep it simple? Because I'm so sure, like, we are not the only ones who have gone through trying to juggle everything. And as a result, our health is compromised, our mental health is compromised, our spiritual health is compromised. So was there a particular strategy that you used in order to get back to, because you have to undo a lot of things. How do you get back to simple, Dion?
First thing is honoring your gut physically and spiritually. You know when something's not right. You know
Mm,
when you are away from your center. You don't feel right. You don't feel good.
mhm,
So, I mean, it started with every layer of my life. Like I said, the movement, literally, vibration starts picking up in your body and you
mhm,
get back in alignment and things are going to fall off naturally that do not align with your vibration. Now, we may fight it because there were some people that I thought were my girlfriends and everything, and I'm hanging with them, but I would get away from them and be so drained. And spirit would just tap me like, it's time to let go.
mhm.
But they started falling off. So it's the unlayering that gets you back to simple and don't fight it. It's hard to give up some things that we love nutritionally, not nutritionally, but some things that we eat that are not nutritional because it's easy. So
Mhm.
those things, so step by step, I looked at everything like that little quadrant. I looked at my nutrition. I looked at my physical health. I looked at my spiritual health, the things that you stated. And I just started one thing at a time. You know that person's not good for you.
Yeah.
Let's try an alternative to that food. I didn't give up everything, but over time it just didn't appeal to me anymore. So it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah, it is a process. And how much of a role do you believe, because I think this may have a big impact, does our social, you just mentioned, like there are some social connections that just fell off in your layering process. They just fell off because everybody can't go with you to the next level. Some people are meant to go with you from season to season, and they're not meant to go all the way. And I do understand that. So how do you overcome the impact of social connection and community? How did you overcome that?
So you
Because
go through
that's a loss, right? But
it's a
there's
grieving
always,
process. Yeah,
yeah, there,
it is a grieving process.
yeah, there's always lessons in the losses. So what is the, here you go. What is the biggest lesson that you learned in the unlayering process?
That I was worth more. I didn't
Ooh.
have to settle, and as my grandmother would say, be in the muck and mire.
Mm,
You don't have to be in the muck and mire. But society, especially with, unfortunately, with Black women, these reality shows and things, they love to show us in the muck and mire, and that this is all that we are about.
mhm,
And that was the biggest lesson, knowing that I was better than that.
mhm.
Don't
Because,
have to, it's not, you don't have to be popular. You just have to be a good human being.
ooh, that's good because oftentimes we find ourselves living into what I call a identity, right?
I love that.
It's a lie identity. And so we go through our entire life trying to live into this lie that people have superimposed on us, or we're trying to prove something to somebody just because they say we couldn't do it, we're gonna prove to them that we can. So it's either a lie identity or a my identity, but I think it's important what you said. We have to get back to our true identity, which is the reason why we were created in the first place.
Yes, your purpose. And it's some people, I think some people run from their purpose because I think almost everyone knows that they're honest with themselves. They know what their purpose is. They know what they're here for. But it's hard to stand in your truth and your brightness. It's
Mm.
scary. It's scary.
What was the scariest part for you?
The serious part,
Mm-hmm.
oh my goodness. For me, the realization that I make a difference. Made me cry.
Oh, that's good, girl.
Because I teach silver sneakers. By license, I'm a social worker, and I was laid off, and I know that was part of the purpose, part of
Mm.
the reason to get me to where I was at. And I have a cohort of seniors who have been with me for, we were talking today. Is for some of them, it's been 10 years. They started with me when I had 5 people. Now I have 100, and just to hear their stories of I'm off of this medication and my A1C is lowered and my doctor said that I did this and I just love you. I don't know. I just didn't even think anything about it because I love it so much. But I'm like, wow, I am making a difference. So
Mhm.
that's the serious part. I'm always going to be a goofball because that's just me. But
No,
I
girl,
mean,
that's real because I do remember like way back in the day, you were always had a spot back then, but you were always, managing your time between your husband and your boys and your job and trying to take care of you too. And often, like, I remember you calling and say, I'll be there, or you would make appointments real early in the morning. And so you were always managing, trying to take care of you. But I think what I'm hearing is that it came a point that you had to move yourself higher up on the priority list.
yes, it's all about peace. And I know this is speaking of our decades long. I don't know if you know, but I'm currently the president of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women Greater Cleveland
I
chapter.
read that, girl. Yes. Yeah. I'm telling you, I read it, girl. Yes. That
We
part,
are
I
getting
read
ready
it.
to do the Women of Vision, and we are looking at our past honorees. And I saw your name, and then I saw your inbox, and I said, "Oh my goodness!" I said, "The alignment of the universe," because I was like, Dr. Marnita, before I was even a member, and now I'm president, and here you are. Here we are.
There's never any mistakes, as you all know. But what I do want to talk about for a minute is, oftentimes we as women always talk about we want to go to the next level, and what I know for sure is that you don't go to the next level, you grow to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't grow to the next level until you grow the things that gives you the ability to grow to the next level. You don't just grow because you want to grow. You have to grow because you have the ability to do the things that allow you to grow. So how do you help people recognize like the things that they are doing? How's that working for you? How do you help them recognize and become aware of like what you're doing? How's that working for you? Like,
Right. It's
how do you
self-sabotage.
position them? Like, what questions do you ask them?
Well, I have a 12-week program. So
Oh,
it's over time because I was a self-sabotager. Every time I knew I was, like you said, I knew the spirit was pushing me to the next level, or I would find a way to sabotage that because water meets its level. I was just like, oof. I was like, I did not want to be a grown up. But like you said, at some point, I asked my clients, do you really feel like you're doing what you were put on earth to do? And some people really have to sit and think about it because some people don't even know what they're here to do because they've done what their parents told them to do. They
the
do what their
identity,
grandparents. Exactly. And
right?
especially for black people, you go to school, you get you a good government job, and you blah 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 blah. And
How's that working for you?
ooh, I had ulcers. I was miserable, like
Mhm.
headaches and everything, just miserable in that lie identity. And now I'm like back to my hippie self, and I'm like, this is wonderful. I know I'm a unicorn, but at the same time, I know that I have responsibilities, and I never shirk those, but I get to do them with my authentic self.
One of my coaches says that I have two, but one of my coaches says that, society culture teaches us we get this job, we work at 30 plus years, we retire if we live to retire, and it's a done deal, right? But he says that what we have not been taught is your job is how you get paid. Your work is your gift. And as long as we all have to pay our bills, and we will go to a job to pay our bills. But when we get off of that job, we never do the real work, which is our gift. And if you can become masterful at your gift, because we all have one or more, if we become masterful at our gift, we would never be employable.
And that is so powerful because as an entrepreneur, you do hit some times you're like, well, let me put in some applications because if I didn't have a husband, I'd be a stripper because it gets a
I
little
hear
scary.
you. Yeah, yeah.
And I had put in so many applications and not a callback. And Spirit was like, well, because I need you to trust this process. And just when I think all is, I get a contract, I get a new client. I'm just like, oh, trust the process because
Because
I'm
you
walking in my gift.
yeah, because you're protected, right? You're protected in your gift, and your gift will always make room for you, but you got to be patient. And our struggle is in the room of patience,
Ooh,
And so it's not comfortable to be in that room of patience and waiting, because you're waiting because you have to become the person in order for you to do the thing that you need to do to impact others. You can't do the thing until you become the person. So that discomfort is all about becoming. And so many people avoid the initial step of becoming and wondering why it's taking so long. That's a biblical principle.
Right. It's going.
We were never meant to be subjected to just
Mm,
over broke. That
no,
wasn't
it'll
our
be.
that wasn't why we were created, to be subjected to just over broke. We were created to be the person who is in alignment with their gift according to what God gave them, to subdue our territory, because our territory is our real estate, and to have dominion over it, which means to annihilate any obstacle that comes your way. And that takes time.
It takes growth.
It takes
It
growth.
takes, and you said the room of patience and those challenges that come. Those challenges, if you pay attention, they're not to attack you. They are to get you to that level where you keep saying where you're supposed to be, grow into where you're supposed to be. You can't grow without attacks and challenges. I just refuse to believe. I mean, a diamond does not become a diamond without being put under pressure.
Of course, because you can never do something that is inconsistent with who you are.
Well, a lot of people live like that, and it's sad to watch. It breaks my heart.
Doesn't it break your heart, Dion, that you sit and as a coach, a transformational coach at that, as a coach, you're all into taking people from where they are to where they want to be, but you can't pull them there, right? You can't pull someone there who's not even aware
It's an
of
issue.
the real person that's in them. You're trying to help them see them as a coach, right? You're trying to help
Yes.
people see themselves.
Yes.
So what is the number one resistance that you get when you're trying to help someone see themselves?
Well, on the physical plane, because I start with the personal training, because I am a personal trainer.
Yeah, yeah, I forgot that too. This girl, let me tell
But it's all, I realized that I had to package it all for it to make sense to
that
people.
makes sense.
Because you can
Absolutely.
lose the weight. I can get you to lose weight all day. But if your
Mm,
heart and your mind and your spirit is not aligned, you're going to gain that weight back. You're going to go back to those old habits. So what
mhm,
I realized is like, okay, you have the social work degree, you have this personal training certification. People need both. People need the whole package. And I needed it for myself because when I started my journey, it took me 4 times to finally start to get to the point where I'm like, okay, it's not just about the weight. It was about the baggage, the childhood traumas. All of that has to be unpacked so we can get to the next level of greatness because it's a weight.
mhm,
The traumas, the some people have been physically abused, emotionally abused. And if you don't get that out of your spirit, out of your DNA, because it gets trapped in your cells, it gets trapped in your organs, it'll never be what you're supposed to be. And it's
mhm.
by design, the enemy is going to attack. And that's why
Of
we have
course.
the zombie apocalypse. We have a lot of zombies walking around, just hurt people, just they don't want to heal because they don't even know where to begin.
Mm,
I'm grateful for my clients who want to start unpacking because it's rough. I mean, I was my first client.
of course. Yeah, we all are first. We all are
Yeah,
our first client,
yeah,
right?
I was my own guinea pig, and like I said, it started with the weight, but then it started with you have to heal from your childhood trauma.
So if someone is ready,
Hmm.
right? And when they're ready, listen, y'all, don't be hitting Dion up if y'all ain't ready. She don't have time. Y'all heard what I said. Like she got a whole life. So when they ready, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, the easiest way is my Instagram page, age underscore with underscore vibrancy, and people just drop a DM, and I set up send you a link for 30-minute consultation, and we set your goals, and we see why you really want to get better. Because
How, I mean,
yeah,
I'm glad you said goals. How important is a personal growth plan?
ooh, it is a roadmap. I know we're showing our age. We used paper maps back in the day. to get from point A to point B.
I'm with you, girl. Yes.
But nowadays they have GPS and Waze and so forth. But if you don't know where you're going, how are you gonna ever get there? You're just driving, you're just driving, you're just driving, and you
Right.
look up and you got gray hair and
Somewhere,
what
right.
happened? Yeah. So it is important to have steps, have a direction and a destination. And it won't be your last destination, but it is the destination that will get you from the hurt to the healing.
Mhm.
And the healing is not going to be a one and done.
Mhm.
There are different layers of healing.
Mm. I'm glad you said that because healing is all consuming, I believe. And because you've done your own work, can you share, like, just to give them a peek, what would be, or you may say it differs for everybody, but what would be the first stage of healing?
When things that used to trigger you, that represent or that are a part of that pain that would trigger you, no longer trigger you. Especially with my case, being around the individuals who created the trauma, you can forgive, but you'll never forget. Your body will never forget.
Oh no, yeah.
And the point where the anxiety of being exposed to that person is not as intense, if that makes sense,
Of
then
course.
you know, okay, I'm getting past this. I am growing. I am learning that that had nothing to do with me. So when you can start separating the pain and the individuals that created the pain and the trauma from your body physically and physiologically,
Hmm.
then you know, okay, this little baby step, we're going to go up to the next step now. And for
Okay.
some people, they can never get past that. Some people self-medicate. Some people
Not to feel the
not to
discomfort.
feel it,
And-
not to feel it. You have to feel it.
Mm,
You have to sit in it. You have to face it. And like I tell some of my clients, your demons can swim. You can't drink them. You can't drown them. You,
yeah.
yeah,
That's
they're
so good, Dion. That's so good because it it's a heart thing, right? It's a heart thing. Everything flows from the heart. That's a biblical principle, right? And when everything flows from the heart, that creates our narrative, our mental narrative, right? Based on our emotions.
they're out your head.
And now we're in the head, right? And then once we're in the head, we start having these
Ooh.
conversations. Most of the time, they're self-defeating conversations, which is going to provoke a certain action, a behavior. And that behavior, eventually, if we keep telling the same story, which most people do, right? It
Mm-hmm.
becomes habitual. And whatever becomes a habit becomes a part of our, now this one is good, this is so good, our character, right? And our character will ultimately take us to our destination. And we wonder how we get there.
Yeah, how'd you end up in the muck?
Muck and the
Yeah.
mire. Like
Yeah.
let's go back to what you just said, the muck and the mire. Like, so
Yeah. The stinking thinking is, oof.
tell me about tell us about the stinking thinking, because that's what we used to call it back in the day.
Right. I know the stinking thinking. It's easy to stay in your head and create the stories that everyone is against you, that it was everyone else's fault. And when you're a child, yeah, it is their fault. But when you become an adult, it is now time for you to change that narrative because people don't even realize the trauma stays in your cells, it stays in your organs, and it has nowhere to go. When you see people with all kinds of autoimmune diseases for no
No
reason,
reason.
we can, yes, there are a lot of chemicals in food and the air, but a lot of diseases are because your body and your mind are at dis-ease. They're not at ease because you're constantly pumping cortisol and just adrenaline in your system because you're just tight. and
Mhm.
recreating all these horrors and telling yourself all these horrors over and over again. And I mean, I had to, like, when I'm walking around the gym, I'll just tell, hey, relax your shoulders.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
I can see, I'm like, oh my goodness, your shoulders are not earrings. Relax your shoulders. I mean, just simple things like that. Relax your jaws.
Yeah.
It's just
You don't even know that you're tensed up like that. So awareness is crucial.
like I mean, it's so funny 'cause like I said, going back to my seniors, they like, oh my goodness, I hear you all day long. Relax your jaw. Where's your
Mm.
get out your head? I'm just like, good. I'm gonna start making t-shirts.
So let me ask you this, Dion. I'm loving this conversation. I hope y'all loving it too. Like I'm getting so much out of this. So let me ask you this question. Um, as you were going through your process, because you were your first client, right? What were the what was the number one sacrifice that you had to make?
Hmm. Um, blaming the thing that I had to let go of was blaming the people who hurt me
Mm,
because I was a child, but I became an adult and I'm a mother now. I can't keep those feelings. I can't keep, like you said, that those patterns because eventually they're going to leak out into how I raise my children. I didn't want to raise them in fear. I didn't want to raise them and thinking that you had limits because society is going to do that enough, but you shouldn't have to get that at home. So the biggest sacrifice, well, to me was letting go, and
okay.
stop blame. And I had to stop blaming. I had to sit in it and like, look, it happened. You're not going to forget it. Your body's not going to totally forget it, but you can't let it keep you here. I was letting it keep me here. I
Gotcha.
was settling so much because I was like, oh, I was like, yeah, it literally had me stuck.
Mm,
So yeah, I didn't want my children to see that their mother was limited.
because when you hold on to those limiting beliefs, you own them, right?
Oh, I owned them big time. So that was,
Yeah.
I mean, it was a reward, but the sacrifice of holding on to that old narrative
Yeah. What is one regret
of anything,
of anything?
not being bolder sooner.
I love that.
Yeah. And it's so funny because I know you
Because
already
we
see.
are bold.
Yeah, we are.
Girl, I listen, you be posting pictures with like green, blue, pink. I'm like, I love this. Like you are bold and you are beautiful and you are brilliant. And I honor you for being an example and a model for us as we all are moving towards becoming aware of our true potential, our true purpose, because we deserve the abundance, everything that the world has to give us. And we cannot receive it unless we are walking in who God created us to be, which is our I amness, right?
Yes, 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 yes. The great I am. We are I am. Yes. And
Yeah.
it's so funny, like you said, we've known each other for years. And I met you in the hurt.
Yeah.
Give me a second, because I know I'm about to lose it. I had never met a black female chemist,
Mm.
and you changed how I thought about what I could become.
Oh Lord. Oh my God, that just hit me in a place
I'm
that
trying not to lose it, but
I
yeah,
had no idea.
the universe put women like you in my life to let me realize that I could be better.
Mm.
So thank you.
Girl, you
I
are
bring the tissue
Hey,
moment, but I never got to tell you that.
I didn't bring any virtual tissue.
But I had to tell you that because I
Thank
am
you,
a
Jan.
strong component of giving people their flowers when they're alive.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Hmm.
So yeah.
Y'all, this is like
and
real
put it
stuff.
together.
This is a real conversation. Like, I don't know what y'all think, but this is how it's really supposed to be. Relationships are so important. We were created to do three things. We were created to be creative,
Oh my goodness, yes.
to connect relationally, and to contribute, to provide impact. Those three things that's why we were created. And for as long as I've known you, and as I think, I'm like, I'm going in my mind as I'm talking, I'm going down memory lane right now. You have been all of that.
Oh
And as you get older, ageless vibrancy,
my
right?
goodness.
As you get older, I see more of that in you.
I know I can't. It's just it's there. It's like I
It's
can feel it
exuding. That's
brewing.
right. Yes.
Yes, I can feel it. I can feel it brewing. And I have friends who are creatives in different aspects. I have friends who are poets, friends who are artists and like drawing and painting. And that's not my gift. My artistry my creative artistry comes from dance. And no, I'm not a formal dancer, but music is my modality of healing. And I use it with my seniors, and that's where I know that's where I'm at right now. So that's my creative. I don't draw, but I can turn music on and just I can heal others with music.
We all have our thing. We all have the queen of our scene. Like we have that thing that we can be the queen of our scene, right?
Love it.
So that's that's good. So that's the way we're supposed to be. So Dion, this has been amazing, y'all. I don't know what y'all thinking, but like I'm just all in it.
I know this is wonderful.
I have
My spirit.
I'm gonna wrap it up right now. So I like to end the interview with three questions.
Yes.
The first question is, what is your favorite quote that inspires you where you're not feeling or operating at your highest level?
It's so simple. Um, it is I had a colleague, and when things would go awry, she would simply say in a staff meeting, "It is what it is. Keep it moving." And that has always been. I love Miss Karen. Actually, today is or yesterday was Karen's birthday. But that phrase right, that quote right there, it is what it is. Keep it moving. Some things you're not going to be able to change. It's how you perceive it. What are you going to do next?
Okay.
So,
Question two. Thank you. What is one book that has made a difference as you are living out your purpose? What is one book that you have read which has made a difference as you are living out your purpose?
it's so funny. It's a couple, but this one I'm reading right now is called The Other Black Girl. You can't see it. I know this, I don't have a green screen, but it's called The Other Black Girl by Zakia Delia Harris. And we have a mentoring group, and it's a book that they're reading, but it is about living in your truth. It's about the code switching and the things that we have to do to live that, what did you call that? That lie? What's your,
Identity.
that
Yeah.
identity?
Yes, girl.
And I am so glad that our mentees who are in high school get to read this, and hopefully they won't get pressured into the identity and then wake up in their 40s and 50s and realize that they are not on path for their purpose.
Yeah.
So this book has made an impact because not only for me, but the fact that we can help the next generation not have to wait as long as we did to live in their purpose.
Okay. That's great. That's some good stuff.
So
Okay.
the other girl,
Third question. What tool do you use to continue to elevate and grow in what you have been purposed to do?
naps. Naps are a tool.
Naps are a tool. I love that. Because naps are,
Um,
yeah, I agree.
yeah, of course, when I was younger and I was like, I don't need no nap, blah, blah, blah. But over 50, and I have a physical job, and then I have an emotional well, emotional things that I have to deal with dealing with Black women in the organization.
Mhm.
Um, I realized that it impacts me physiologically, psychologically, mentally, and spiritually if I am not rested enough and I can't be my best. So my tool is naps.
Okay, I
Yeah.
love that. Dion, it has been beyond impactful for me to have this conversation with you today. I thank you immensely for all that you're doing for the community of women to help them see who they truly are and to live vibrant lives and to live in their boldness and to know that they're beautiful and brilliant. For one, I honor you. And if any of you want to get in touch with Dion, please go to her IG, and I'm going to put the link in the description. But it's age_with_vibrancy. And she has a link tree there. You can take advantage of not everything that she has to offer. You can buy her book. Is it on sale now or is it pre-order? Where is it
Yeah,
at right
there
now?
the first book, Look Good Naked, is available on Amazon. Ageless Glamour Girl is on Amazon, Kindle version, hard copy, and Barnes and Noble.
Okay, I'm gonna get those links and I'm gonna put those in the description. Listen, y'all now, don't play. Don't play with yourself. Like, y'all need to get on it, like, quickly. Because, if we 50 plus, we have more time behind us than we have in front of us. I don't know why y'all playing. So if anything that we've talked about in this conversation today, anything that you've liked, I want you to like, subscribe, and share. Share it on your Facebook. It's going to be on our YouTube channels. I will put the link, Dion's YouTube channel link in the description. But with that being said, I am Dr. Marnita on fire, closing out this interview with P3 Purposepreneur. And at P3 Purposepreneur, we are pattern makers, and pattern makers are move makers. So go out there and build $1,000,000 legacies with purpose. Until
Yes.
next interview, I will see you next time.